Okay, hello you guys, welcome to my channel. It's Jessica Mahoney. Hi, welcome here. It's Jessica Mahoney. Welcome to my channel. Hi, it's Jessica Mahoney. Welcome to my channel. This is an ASMR reading of Fellowship of the Ring by J.R.R. Tolkien. Lord of the Rings Part 1. Okay, so we've been doing some reading and we have gotten really far. Well, not really, but we're almost on chapter 2. Okay, so this is what we have left of chapter 1. And we're just going to keep going. Fellowship of the Ring, long expected party. Okay, so I'm just going to go back to where we were yesterday so that you're not completely lost. You have still got the ring in your pocket, said the wizard. Well, so have I, cried Bilbo. And my will and all the other documents too. I had better take it and deliver it. He had better take it and deliver it for me. That will be safest. No, don't give the ring to me, said Gandalf. Put it in the mantelpiece. It will be safe enough there till Frodo comes. I shall wait for him. Bilbo took out the envelope just as he was about to set it by the clock, his hand jerked back, and the pocket fell on the floor, and the packet fell on the floor. Before he could pick it up, the wizard stopped and seized it and set it in its place. A spasm of anger passed swiftly over the hobbit's face again. Suddenly, it gave way to a look of relief and a laugh. Well, that's that, he said. Now I'm off. They went out into the hall. Bilbo chose his favourite stick from the stand. Then he whistled. 3 dwarves came out of different rooms where they had been busy. Is everything ready? Asked Bilbo. Everything packed and labelled? Everything, they answered. Well, let's start then. He stepped out of the front door. It was a fine night, and the black sky was dotted with stars. He looked up, sniffing the air. What fun to be off again, off on the road with dwarves. This is what I have really been longing for years. Goodbye, he said, looking at his old home and bowing to the door. Goodbye, Gandalf. Goodbye for the present, Bilbo. Take care of yourself, and you're old enough and perhaps wise enough. Take care. I don't care. Don't you worry about me. I am as happy now as I have ever been. And that is saying a great deal. But the time has come. I am being swept off my feet at last, he added, and then in a low voice, as if to himself, he sang softly in the dark. The road goes over. Now far ahead the road has gone, and I must follow if I can. Swaying it with eager feet until it joins some larger way, where many paths and errands meet, and whither then I cannot say. He paused, silent for a moment. Then, without another word, he turned away from the lights and voices in the field and the tents, and followed by his 3 companions, went round in his garden and trotted down the long sloping path. He jumped over a low place in the hedge at the bottom and took to the meadows, passing into the night like a rustle of wind in the grass. Gandalf remained for a while, staring after him into the darkness. Goodbye, dear Bilderberg, until our next meeting, he said softly, and went back indoors. Frodo came in soon afterwards and found him sitting in the dark, deep in thought. Has he gone? He asked. Yes, answered Gandalf, he has gone at last. I hoped until this evening that it was only a joke, said Frodo, but I knew in my heart that he really meant to go. He always used to joke about serious things. I wish I had come back sooner, just to see him off. I think really he preferred slipping off quietly in the end, said Gandalf. Don't be too troubled. He'll be all right now. He left a packet for you. There it is. Frodo took the envelope from the mantelpiece and glanced at it, but did not open it. You'll find his will and all the other documents in there, I think, said the wizard. You are the master of Bag End now. And also, I fancy, you'll find a golden ring. The ring! Exclaimed Frodo. He left me that? I wonder why. Still, it may be useful. It may, and it may not, said Gandalf. I should make use of it if I were you. But keep it secret. Keep it safe. Now I'm going to bed. As master of Bag End, Frodo felt his painful duty to say goodbye to the guests. Rumours of strange events had by now spread all over the field, but Frodo only say, no doubt everything will be cleared up in the morning. About midnight, carriages came for the important folk. One by one they rolled away, filled with full but very unsatisfied hobbits. Gardeners came by arrangement and removed in wheelbarrows those that had inadvertently remained behind. Night slowly passed, the sun rose. The hobbits rose rather later. Morning went on. People came and began, by orders, to clear away the pavilions and the tables and the chairs and the spoons and the knives and the bottles and the plates and the lanterns and the flowering shrubs in boxes and the crumbs and the cracker paper, the forgotten bags and gloves and the handkerchiefs and the uneaten food, a very small item. Then a number of other people came without orders, Bagginses and boffins and belgers and tooks and their guests that lived or were staying near. By midday, when even the best fed were out and about again, there was a large crowd at Bag End, uninvited but not unexpected. Frodo was waiting on the step, smiling. Frodo was waiting on the step, smiling, but looking rather tired and worried. He welcomed all the callers that he had not much more, but he had not much more to say than before. His reply to all inquiries was simply this: Mr. Bilbo Baggins has gone away, as far as I know, for good. Some of the visitors he invited to come inside, as Bilbo had left messages for them. Inside the hall there was pulled a large assortment of packages and parcels and small articles of furniture. On every item there was a label tied. There were several labels of this sort. For Ardelot took, for his very own, from Bilbo, an umbrella Ardelot had carried off many unlabelled ones. For Dora Baggins, in memory of a long correspondence with love from Bilbo. On a large waste paper basket, Dora and Drogo's sister, the eldest surviving female relative of Bilbo and Frodo, she was 99 and had written reams of good advice for more than half a century. For Milo Burrows, hoping it will be useful, from BB, on a gold pen and ink bottle, Milo never answered letters. For Angelica's use, from Uncle Bilbo, and a round convex window. For Angelica's use, from Uncle Bilbo, a round convex mirror. She was a young Baggins, and too obviously considered her face shapely. Right, that makes sense. She was a young Baggins, and too obviously considered her face shapely. For the collection of Hugo Brace Girdle, from a contributor, for the collection of Hugo Brace Girdle, from a contributor on an empty bookcase. Hugo was a great borrower of books and worse than usual at returning them. We all know someone like that. Anyway. For Lobelia, Sackville Baggins, a present on a case of silver spoons. Bilbo believed that she had acquired a good many of his spoons while he was away on his former journey. Lobelia knew that quite well. Lobelia knew that quite well. When she arrived later in the day, she took the point at once, but she also took the spoons. This is only a small selection of the assembled guests. Bilbo's residence had got rather cluttered up with things in the course of his long life. It was a tendency of hobbit holes to get cluttered up, for which the custom of giving so many birthday presents was largely responsible. Not, of course, that the birthday presents were always new. They were one or two old mathons of forgotten uses that had circulated all around the district. But Bilbo had usually given new presents and kept those that he received. The old hole was now being cleared a little. For every one of the various parting gifts and labels written out personally by Bilbo, several had some point or some joke. But of course, most of the things were given there. Most of the things were given were they would be wanted and welcome. Most of the things were given were they would be wanted and welcome. The poorer hobbits, and especially those of Bagshot Row, did very well. Old Gaffer Gamgee got 2 sacks of potatoes, a new spade, a woolen waistcoat, and a bottle of ointment for cracking joints. Old Rory Brandybuck, in return for much hospitality, got a dozen bottles of old Wynyards, strong red wine from the South Farthing, and now quite mature, as it had been laid down by Bilbo's father. Rory quite forgave Bilbo and voted him a capital fellow after the first bottle. There was plenty of everything. Left for Frodo, and of course all the chief treasures, as well as the books, pictures, and more than enough furniture. Where he left his possession. There was, however, no sign, no mention, no money. Of money or jewelry. Not a penny piece or a glass bead was given away. Frodo had a very trying time that afternoon. A false rumour that the whole household was being distributed free spread like wildfire, and before a long place was packed with people who had no business there, but could not keep out. Labels got torn off and mixed, and quarrels broke out. Some people tried to do swaps and deals in the hall. And others tried to make off with minor items not addressed to them. Or with anything that seemed unwanted or unwatched. And others tried to make off with minor items not addressed to them, or with anything that seemed unwanted or unwatched.
Okay, so this part of the book took quite a while to read. Also, while I was adjusting and trying to look for my best side. Yeah, anyway.
Wrote the gate was blocked with barrows and hand carts. In the middle of the commotion, the Sackville Bagginses arrived. Frodo had retired for a while and left his friend Merry Brandybuck to keep an eye on things. When Otto loudly demanded to see Frodo, Merry bowed politely. "He is indisposed," he said. "He is resting." "Hiding, you mean," said Lobelia. Lobelia said Lobelia. "Anyway, we want to see him, and we mean to see him. Just go and tell him so." Mary left them a long while in the hall, and they had time to discover their parting gifts of spoons. It did not improve their tempers. Eventually, they shone into the study. Eventually, they shone into the study
Frodo was sitting at a table with a lot of papers in front of him. He looked indisposed to see sackful Bagginses at any rate, and he stood up, fidgeting with something in his pocket. But he spoke quite politely. The sackful Bagginses were rather offensive. They began by offering him bad bargain prices as between friends, for that only the things specially directed to Bilbo were being given away. They said the whole affair was very fishy. Only one thing is clear to me, Sodato, and that is that you are doing exceedingly well out of it. I insist on seeing the will. Otto would have been Bilbo's heir for the adoption of Frodo, but for the adoption of Frodo. He read the will carefully and snorted. It was unfortunately very clear and correct, according to the legal customs of hobbits, which demanded, among other things, 7 signatures of witnesses in red ink. Foiled again, he said. Foiled again, he said to his wife. And after waiting 60 years, spoons, fiddlesticks, he snapped his fingers under Frodo's nose and stumped off. But Lobelia was not so easily got rid of. A little later, Frodo came out of the study to see how things were going on, and found her still about the place, investigating nooks and corners, tapping the floors. He escorted her firmly off to the premises, after he had revealed to her the several small but rather valuable articles that had somehow fallen inside her umbrella. Her face looked as if she was in the throes of thinking out a really gushing crushing parting remark. But all she found to say, turning round on the step, was, "You'll regret it, young fellow. Why didn't you go too? You don't belong here. You're no Baggins. You're a brandybuck." "Did you hear that, Mary? That was an insult, if you like," said Frodo, as he shut the door on her. "It was a compliment," said Mary Buck. "And so, of course, not true." Then they went around the hall and evicted 3 young hobbits, 2 boffins and a bulgar, who were knocking holes in the walls of the cellars. Frodo also had a tussle with young Sancho Proudfoot, old Ardo Proudfoot's grandson, who had begun an excavation in the larger pantry where he thought was an echo. The legend of Bilbo's gold excited both curiosity and hope. For legendary gold, mysteriously obtained, if not positively ill-gotten, is, as everyone knows, anyone's for the finding, unless the search is interrupted. When he had overcome Sancho and pushed him out, Frodo collapsed on the chair in the wall. It was time to close the shop. "Mary," he said, "lock the door and don't open it to anyone today. Not even if they bring a battering ram." Then he went to retrieve himself with a belated cup of tea. He had hardly sat down when there came a soft knock at the front door. Lobelia again, most likely, he thought. She must have thought of something really nasty and have come back again to say it. It can wait. He went on with his tea. The knock was repeated, much louder, but he took no notice. Suddenly, the wizard's head appeared at the window. "If you don't let me in, Frodo, I shall blow your door right down your hall and out through the hill," he said. "My dear Gandalf, half a minute," cried Frodo, running out the room to the door. Come in, come in. I thought it was Lobelia." "Then I forgive you, but I saw her some time ago, driving a pony trap towards Baywater with a face that would have curdled new milk." She had already nearly curdled me, honestly. She had already nearly curdled me, honestly. I nearly tried on Bilbo's ring. I longed to disappear. "Don't do that," said Gandalf, sitting down. "Do be careful on that ring, Frodo. In fact, it is partly about that I have come to say a last word." "Well, what about it?" "What do you know already?" "Only that Bilbo told me." "I have heard his story, how he found it and how he used it on his journey, I mean." "Which story, I wonder?" said Gandalf. "Oh, not what he told the dwarfs and put in his book," said Frodo. He told me the true story soon after I came to live here. He said you had pestered him till he told you, so I had better know too. No secrets between us, Frodo, he said, but they are not to go any further. It's mine anyway. That's interesting, said Gandalf. Well, what did you think of it? You mean inventing all that about a present? Well, I thought the true story much more likely, and I couldn't see the point of altering it all. It was very unlike Bilbo to do so anyway, and I thought it rather odd. Okay, I think we're going to end there for tonight or day, whatever time it is that you're watching this. And yeah, we are nearing the end. I should actually just put this here. We're nearing the end of chapter 1. I feel like I should just finish it. But let's continue. I still have quite a bit of reading to get through. So it's good night, good afternoon, good morning, or whatever time it is, wherever you are. And that's all for today. And I'll see you soon.
That's all for today, and I'll see you soon.